if he cashes in on, should Drew win, and if he cashes in on Drew, he best leg it out of Wales, because we are a passionate people.
In an age where WWE has shied away from violence on television, this is a man who took Eddie Dennis to the limit in a dog collar match. He's a veteran of the UK professional wrestling scene, a man who can brawl and slug as neatly as he delivers his patented pile drivers. His name is Wild Boar, and he joins us to preview Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. But before we talk about the premium live event in Wales, let's talk about you. Right before the interview, I had a chance to speak to my team, many of whom are based in the United Kingdom. And they all told me that in your first match, which was long before WWE, you had a kind of an embarrassing incident, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell our audience about it?
Yeah. Okay. I haven't spoken with this for a while, but yeah. So the first match, I got a couple of minutes in, and due to nerves or lack of proper preparation, I threw up in the middle of the ring. Yeah, looking back on it now, it's quite funny, but at the time I was mortified.
And it's become one of those wrestling legends, right? Like there's something people still bring up with you regularly, because my colleague told me that she was reading a book and it came up in the book.
Oh, really? What book was that? I'm curious.
Something about British wrestling. I mean, she was reading a book, and her name is Philippa Hopwood. She's like one of our content managers, and she was reading the book, and there's an entire page devoted to you. So she shared that with me.
Oh, yeah, it's one of them stories now where I kind of use it. So if I'm ever coaching new wrestlers, I'll use, and people that talk to me about nerves and preparedness and stuff, I'll always bring that story up and just be like, this is what happened to me, and this is one of my first experiences. So stuff, it's never going to be as bad as you might think it's going to be. It's never going to be as bad as what I experienced. So it's become a bit more of a teaching. I use that experience as a bit more of a teaching thing these days. So I turn a negative into a positive these days.
Amazing. And the fact that you've come such a long way since then, you are a WWE superstar. Of course, everybody knows you from the indie circuit. A lot of my friends from Wales, they followed your career for the longest time. What does being a WWE superstar mean to you?
That's fantastic. If I'm honest, this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I remember being a child and playing Warzone. I don't know if I remember Warzone. That's the first bit of wrestling I can ever remember being shown, and I just thought, right, that's what I want to do. And I've in some way, form or fashion, every thing I've kind of done in my life has been leading up to this point to get to be a WWE superstar.
Fantastic. So now we're here to talk about Clash at the Castle. I mean, perhaps the biggest event in the United Kingdom since maybe '92. It's been such a long time coming. What does being a Welshman, what does such an event taking place in Wales mean to you?
I mean, well, having a WWE show the scale of Clash at the Castle happening in Principality is probably the best thing that could happen to wrestling in not just the UK, but not just Wales, but the UK, Europe. But for it to happen in Wales is just, it's very hard for me to put it in words, because as I say, going back to growing up, never would I have thought that something like that could happen, and now it's happening. I just can't wait to experience everything that goes on during that weekend. It's literally going to be the pinnacle of wrestling. It's just fantastic. I'm struggling to get my words out, because to me it is just beyond belief that something like that could happen in Wales. We've joked, me and my mates growing up, we'd a joke. So we joke about, imagine WWE doing a show in the Principality. Never did we think that was going to happen, and now it's happening. And it's like, what is happening? What is going on? So yeah, absolutely buzzing about it.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that. Now, I mean, I was checking out your social media. You were very happy with Triple H coming back to the company and everything. You retweeted his this thing. Imagine you could walk up to Triple H and tell him that I want to face this superstar from across any brand of WWE. Who are you picking for the principality match?
Oh, that's a good question. For me at the moment, I would love to face Butch. I would love to face Butch at that event.
Amazing. What do you think of his character? I mean, he was so different in NXT UK. He's extremely different there. What do you think of his new character?
I really like it. I mean, like he's one of those people who can make anything he does will be fantastic, and this is exactly what he's done. You know, he's just maybe is taken something that isn't necessarily what he's known for, and he's just made it his own. And however long he's doing whatever he's doing, it's going to be fantastic.
What do you think of that faction with him and Sheamus and Ridge Holland? Do you think they're a good representation for your part of the world?
I think so. Big burly men beating daylights out of people and each other. I think it's spot on.
Amazing. Now let's assume that you get the call to go to, let's say, Raw or SmackDown, and there's that change in your character, right? You're not Wild Boar anymore. You become something else. You're given a WWE name, for the lack of a better word. Would you embrace that kind of challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the part of being a good professional is just working with what you're given and making anything you're given the very best that you can do. Like as professional wrestlers, that is something that is part of the job, you know.
Amazing. Let me throw two other names at you, people who were in NXT UK at one time. You shared the locker room with them. Now they're doing some amazing things in other brands. What do you think of what Rhea Ripley is doing?
Oh my God. Well, talk about an NXT success story, right? She's one of, if not the best female wrestlers in the world. Easily top 5 generally. I mean, look at it. She has a look that nobody else has. She's changing stuff up, man. It's class. Big fan.
Did you always think, like when you were in the same brand as her, did you think that she would go on to become, the megastar that she is today?
I mean, there was always something different about her when she was on NXT UK. So you kind of knew that and she just kept on evolving every sort of period in her career up until this point. And I'm assuming it's just going to keep on going. She's incredibly good at evolving and leveling up each time. So when she was with NXT UK, yeah, absolutely. If someone said to me she's going to be a megastar in about a year, 2 years, I'd be like, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, I believe you.
Awesome. And what do you think of what Walter is doing right now as Gunther?
I love watching Gunther's matches, man. I love watching his matches. Like it's just, he's always been a very physical wrestler, and he's taken that on to the main roster with what he's doing, and everything he does is just bam, bam. It's just meat on meat, and that's the type of wrestling that I really enjoy watching. So yeah, I'm always watching when he's doing stuff.
What is the dog collar match? Because I mean, we talk about WWE, and we are pretty much in the same age group. So growing up, we were used to a lot more violence in WWE than the current product. But you brought the violence back again. What do people still talk to you about that match, even so many months later? And where does it rank among your all-time favorite matches?
Yeah, so a lot of people still say to me, I've seen that match with you and Eddie with the dog collar, and they really enjoyed it and stuff like that. And they kind of saying the same stuff you were saying there with the violence, which I'm quite proud of being able to do. In my opinion, it's very hard. You can't not be in one of those matches and not bring the violence. You just got to do it. But for a match like that, to me, to have that. And there's not been many, to my knowledge, there's not been many dog collar matches in WWE. And to be in one of those against someone like Eddie Dennis was just an outstanding feeling. And I enjoyed. If I could do that again, I'd do that again. That'd be one thing I definitely want to be doing again. For me, it's right up with the top. It's up the top with one of my favorite things I've ever done in this business.
All right. So when I look at that match and when I look at a lot of other stuff you do, is there a lot of Mick Foley in what you're doing? Is he an inspiration of yours?
Yeah, hugely. Yeah. He's yeah. I look to him for a lot of everything I do, and just generally everything I do in a ring and outside the ring, from talking or wherever. It's a lot of Mick Foley inspiration, mixed in with other people, other things from different mediums, and try to make something different.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because in the promos leading up to that match, I was watching a few of them. It felt like the Mankind character, right? Like you were channeling some of the Mankind character to build that kind of anticipation. Do you? So you mentioned that Foley was an inspiration, and there were other inspirations from various kinds of media as well. What are some of those inspirations?
So it'll be okay. You wear a Blanca from Street Fighter.
Okay.
So a while back, I had a match where I was dressed up as Blanca, and to me, I was like, I need to be Blanca, don't I? So I was trying to be Blanca. And then I came away from that match thinking, actually, there's some bits in there that I need to be using. That's some of the stuff that I was doing in that match just by trying to be that character that I perceived. I came away from it thinking, actually, you know what, that actually suited me down to the ground. So I'm going to use aspects of what I thought worked for Blanca as me. And that's just one of the weird little bits of where I get bits of my character from.
So as we wind down the interview, I have to ask, you're clearly a video game fan. What did you think of The Undertaker making that comment about wrestlers of today playing video games and not being the people from old days?
Honestly, you know what? I'm not actually a big video game fan.
Oh, you're not?
I don't. But I'm not. So I like Street Fighter growing up, and I was big into the Blanca character because I thought he looked cool. And I just happened to want to do that on the one day. But if I'm honest with you, I haven't played video games in years. The one video game I played was Metal Gear Solid, and I haven't played that in a while. So video games is not my thing. People want to play video games, they want to, they can crack on. There's makes no difference to me. But not my thing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And I mean, could you tell our audience, I'm halfway across the world from you, but we are going to be watching the show live as it happens, Clash at the Castle.
Class.
Why should the world be excited about this event?
Because it's the first time WWE has had a show like the size of it is now in the UK for a long time. And they always do things bigger, and they throw everything at it. And this is just going to be outstanding, isn't it? When they come, UK is WWE has a massive UK fan base, and for them to come over here and put on a show in the Principality, the size of the Principality, in front of all those fans for the first time in a long time, they're going to throw everything at it, and you're going to get, the match is going to be one thing, everything surrounding it is just going to be another level. It's going to be a spectacle to watch.
Amazing. And my final question to you, there's only one match that's been announced right now. You have Roman Reigns, who's been on the run of his life, against Drew McIntyre, who's also rising up the ranks like nobody's business. They will clash, the two ultimate forces. Do you have a prediction?
Whoa. I'd like a UK boy to take it on home soil, but Roman Reigns is killing it right now, isn't he? Like that match against Brock Lesnar was absolutely outstanding. So again, I can't wait to watch it. Like I said, I want a UK boy to win it, but Roman Reigns is the man, isn't he?
Yeah, he totally is. Final question. I mean, just a follow up to this. There's a man with a briefcase waiting in the wings. Do you think he'll cash in at Clash?
Well, if he cashes in on, should Drew win, and if he cashes in on Drew, he best leg it out of Wales, because we are a passionate people. So he best get his running legs on.
Amazing. It was such a delight speaking to you. Best of luck, and I hope you and Butch tear the place down. That will be a great match.
Thank you very much. Pleasure speaking to you.